How might recent and future battery developments help us all and our communities move towards carbon net zero? Can they also help churches and other organizations to stretch their resources further for the work that they want to do for care of creation and the created? Can they help mitigate the loss of damage that we cause by our emissions? This all becomes more tractable for churches and other organizations as the lifetime of operating batteries of significant size has become longer. They are less like consumables now. For example, the battery in our car we recently bought has an 8-year warranty, and the lithium iron phosphate batteries come with a 10-year operational use flag. And the manufacture of sodium batteries is starting in China this year, so there is a good expectation that the performance of batteries will continue to improve and the cost will fall. As yet, though, there's relatively little experience in the use of lithium batteries in churches and charity organizations. Batteries store energy efficiently now and allow us to use it when and where we want that energy. Two ways in which batteries can be used are in conjunction with an off-peak tariff and with solar panels. If you have a smart meter monitoring your electricity supply, then there is a good chance you can set up an off-peak rate. Our supplier was not advertising their Economy 7 rate, but on inquiry, this was on offer through their customer relations folk. It took about 15 minutes to do and became in effect on the same day. The offered rate was about 50% of the all-day rate, but the day rate increased by about 10 to 20%. So let's model this on the basis of an hourly cost. So on a single all-day tariff and a constant use, the cost of this energy would be hourly units of 24 hours a day. There will be 17 hours which match the day rate and 7 hours matching the night use. And I've taken the rate as 0.5 of the all-day rate and 20% higher for the day rate. As this figure shows, having the Economy 7 reduces the cost of the night use at the expense of the costs in the day. There is little gain unless you load up the consumption during the Economy 7 hours. For something like a freezer running constantly, this approximates to a uniform use. At home, it's easy to load up the nighttime use. Our hot water is heated by a heat pump within a couple of hours between 3 and 5 o'clock a.m. and p.m. Our car is set for deferred charging overnight, and so is on the lower tariff. I can even get up early to load up the washing machine. And relative to the period after 7:30 a.m., the cost, you can see, is suppressed overnight. The effect on the carbon footprint is rather small. In terms of energy consumption, it is zero, but there will be a reduction as the carbon intensity of the electricity is often about half that at peak times. However, in most churches and many other organizations, electricity use is minimized overnight unless there are night storage heaters. So there is certainly no gain in having a split tariff by itself. Indeed, it is likely to cost more money to take up the option. It's easy to do, to get a smart meter and do this, but not very smart financially. So let's add a battery system to the mix. The battery system is inserted between the mains and the freezer, and the mains delivery is controlled by a timer. Let's set its capacity as the daily use of electricity, on average, the 24 units. And we'll also model one with half capacity, 12 units. The charging for the battery can be set with a timer to be within the Economy 7 period, simultaneously providing the power to the building and the batteries. Once the Economy 7 period is ended, the electricity supply is provided by the battery only, and the battery provides the power for the other 17 hours. And then it's recharged under Economy 7 rate. So all the electricity cost is at 50% rate, half a reduction in cost and some reduction in carbon footprint. Electricity consumption, though, has not changed at all. If the battery is smaller in capacity, it will have to be recharged during the day, at the day period, and there will be some reduction in cost, but proportionally less. Finally, let's add solar panels to charge the battery daily in the summer. If enough solar energy is stored to meet demand, then the battery avoids needing it as well, and so the running costs all go to zero, as does the carbon footprint and the energy consumption drawn from the grid. That's the plot on the right. One stage back for that might be to have half the solar power needed and a half-sized battery. So half of the daytime consumption of the 24 units are provided by the sun and half by the battery. The economy 7 period can be used to recharge the battery at the night rate. Overall, the consumption is halved and the cost reduced to a quarter. Here is an example based on running the freezer, a pseudo-uniform use, and having an economy 7 off-peak rate. This is a model for a building running on the grid. The freezer runs using 150 watts, but is often idle, and so the average power is about 60 watts, or about 1692 watt-hours per day. The battery has a capacity of 768 watt-hours, and using 80% of this between the charges would provide about 640 watt-hours. Now, the daytime consumption over the 17-hour period will be in the region of 1200 watt-hours, so recharge is needed in the day for an hour. That means for 8 hours, the mains provide the coverage, 7 on the night rate, and the battery provides the coverage for 16 hours, 2 blocks of 8 hours. The battery only has the capacity for 1/3 of the energy needed. Now, the left-hand plot is from measurements made without any solar input. The reduction in energy cost is about a quarter. On a sunny February day, using 200 watt peak power solar panels, solar generation was feasible between 9:30 in the morning and 3:30 in the afternoon, and the recharge required then was much reduced. About 20% of the electricity required for the day had been provided by the solar panel. The electricity costs over the 24-hour period had been reduced to about a half. Approaching a reduction in energy costs and carbon footprint by combining a timer, batteries and solar power do indeed provide options for reducing ongoing energy costs. Lots of investment and sunny days can zero the energy consumption and the costs associated with that. At the other extreme, on dark, cloudy winter days, savings of a quarter to a half are viable, depending on the capacity of the battery system. Now, what this means in the context of a building will be the subject of the next video.